Jayden Daniels, Cajon High School, and this is my underwear spotlight.
With the second pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Jayden Daniels, quarterback, LSU.
Jayden Daniels is now a Washington Commander. Embrace the future. Let's try to put the past behind us because Jayden Daniels is the present, and the present is now. Welcome to the DMV. Welcome to DC, Jayden Daniels. I never really got to get into it and make an isolated video about how I feel about Jayden Daniels being the second overall pick for the Washington Commanders on Thursday's draft. We kind of touched on it a little bit and moved on because we had so much to do over draft weekend, but we finally get to put all that aside, and it feels good waking up Monday morning, April 29th, knowing that you have a potential franchise quarterback on the roster. And that's the goal. You don't draft this guy because you think you can find a game manager. You don't draft this guy because you think he can hold it down for a couple years while you figure it out. You take a guy this high when you think he's special, when you think he can be your franchise quarterback of the future. Is anything guaranteed? No, nothing is guaranteed in this life. And it's always a crapshoot selecting quarterbacks. But your best bet to hit on a quarterback is taking one early. And I'm glad we took Jayden Daniels. I was very open to taking Drake May. I even, over the process, as we grew closer to the draft, could understand it if you thought about taking J.J. McCarthy. But with the way that this roster is being currently constructed, they want a guy who can hit the ground running. And in their eyes, this is the guy who you want to put out there immediately, who has the running ability that Adam Peters says will take your soul away from your defense. He can get away. He can neutralize the defense in the process of learning the offense. He can escape. He can make shit happen when he's not necessarily seeing things. Before the game slows down for him, he can make things happen with his legs, but he's not necessarily a run-first quarterback. He just has the potential to do that, but man, gone are the days of the past. Y'all know what I'm talking about. From 1999 all the way up into 2023. Y'all know what the vibes have been like for Washington. Brad Johnson, Jeff George, Tony Banks, Shane Matthews, Danny Werfel, Tim Hasselbeck, Mark Brunell, Jason Campbell, Todd Collins, Donovan McNabb, Rex Grossman, John Beck, RG3, Kirk Cousins, Colt McCoy. Y'all know the vibe. Alex Smith, Josh Johnson, Mark Sanchez, Case Keenum, Dwayne Haskins, Kyle Allen, Taylor Heineke, Ryan Fitzpatrick, Garrett Gilbert, Carson Wentz, Sam Howell, Jayden Daniels. I wish he had a middle name because you know I like to go government name when I talk about guys. When I start to get in my passionate bag, I like to go Jayden blank Daniels. So we're going to have to make up a middle name for Jayden Montravius Daniels. You are now a Washington Commander. And I already know we're going to give the guy the savior treatment because in Washington, the quarterback of the football team comes second to the president and comes first for most of us that don't give a shit about politics because I really could give one damn about it. Talk to me about the quarterback on a football team. Talk to me about sports. Don't want to talk about politics. So this is numero uno in my books. And I've been obsessing all weekend about everything Jayden Daniels. I've probably watched every interview, every attempt that you can find on the internet, every drop back that you can find on the internet. I've seen it, and I'm so content. I'm so comfortable, and I'm so excited about what he brings to Washington. He comes in and inherits an offense that has Terry McLaurin as his number one. Jahan Dotson as his number 2, and now has Luke McCaffrey, brother of Christian, son of Ed, as his third receiver. A running back room that has Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, and last year's rookie Chris Rodriguez. A tight end room that has Zach Ertz, Ben Sinnott, someone we took on Friday night, and Cole Turner and John Bates. Don't know exactly what Cole Turner is or if he's ever going to be anything, but John Bates is a quality blocking tight end. The offensive line can still use some fine tuning, especially at the left tackle position, but we added center Tyler Biadasz. We added guard left Nick Algretti. Brandon Coleman's either going to start at tackle or guard. Andrew Wiley, unfortunately, still is your starter at right tackle, and Sam Cosmi, really the only offensive lineman of before with promise to him. He inherits that right guard role here, but Jayden has more than enough to succeed here in Washington over time and to hit the ground running. I've seen rookie quarterbacks work with less and make shit shake. CJ Stroud's Houston Texans played with 14 different offensive line combinations last year. I'm not comparing Jayden Daniels to CJ Stroud, but it is interesting though. CJ Stroud has a very close relationship with Jayden Daniels. He says they text and talk daily, both being from San Bernardino, California. I was watching the Michael Parsons CJ Stroud draft stream on Bleacher Report. Shout out to Bleacher Report, by the way. He was so emotional when Jayden went number 2 because that's his boy. Like, he was so passionate about it. He was like, you don't know the stuff we've been through. You don't know the stuff it is coming. Black quarterback from San Bernardino. I like it. I don't necessarily like to make the comparisons to other guys. And just because we saw this guy make success, but just go back and watch all rookie quarterback seasons. And when you do that, you're going to say, why can't Jayden do that? And I'm going to put out a video for realistic expectations for Jayden Daniels' rookie year. I was watching Kyler's rookie year. I know, totally different quarterback. He's twitchier. He's much shorter, like significantly shorter, like 5 inches shorter than Jayden Daniels. Has more of a whip of an arm, but I watched Kyler throw for 3,720 touchdowns, run for 500, and another 5 touchdowns his rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year. Jayden's easily going to be a Rookie of the Year candidate for the Commanders. He already has a friendly wager with his best friend in the league, Malik Neighbors, former LSU wide receiver, of who's going to win Rookie of the Year, and the winner has to pay the other one $10,000. I like it. He's my kind of guy. He's swaggy. He's not corny like the last guy we took at number 2. Even though we loved the last guy when we took him at number 2, he was definitely a cornball. Rob Parker was right. We all wanted it to work, and he took the league by storm. It was lightning flash in the bottle for a year, but he was corny. Jayden, just a cool-ass dude. He's a hat and glasses indoors type of guy, kept his shades and his hat on the Command Center interview. My kind of guy, because that's exactly what I do. He's just a cool-ass dude. He opens up around friends and around the locker room, but he's not going to give the media too much. This is a guy who's had one of the more interesting college careers and trajectories of being the second pick we've ever seen. He came straight out the start as a freshman at Arizona State. He even outdueled Justin Herbert, NFL superstar quarterback of Oregon, when they were the 6th-ranked Oregon Ducks. So they came down to Arizona State, and he stomped them. Outdueled him, threw for 400 on them boys, and had a 17-2 touchdown to interception ratio as a freshman. Sophomore year, things started to get weird. You know, the COVID stuff started to happen, and he didn't necessarily go crazy in his next season. Then his 3rd season, things got really real for Jayden. He lost both of his grandparents before the year, and he had a weird 10 touchdown, 10 interception season. Everybody started trashing him. Things went awry and started crumbling at Arizona State. He ends up taking the transfer to Louisiana State University, LSU. He went to the SEC, started getting him some NIL money, and he said, I'm watching guys I grew up competing against like Bryce Young and CJ Stroud competing on the big level, on the largest platforms, and I want that for myself. Went to LSU for 2 years. Had a good first season at LSU, but nothing compares to his final year at LSU. And here's the key cog in this machine. LSU is the first time Jayden got to play in the same offense with the same offensive coordinator for back-to-back years because it was changing and fluctuating by year in Arizona State. He got to sit and play in the same offense for 2 years in a row, and he goes from like a 17 touchdown season to 40 touchdowns over 4 interceptions, 1,200 rushing yards, 10 touchdowns. We're talking 4,900 yards and 50 touchdowns out of Jayden Daniels. We haven't seen a dramatic leap like this since Joe Burrow, the last LSU quarterback to make a meteoric rise like this. So if you want to give him the 1-year wonder tag, it applies to Joe Burrow just as much as it applies to Jayden Daniels. Yes, I know he's built like a broom. He's built like a tree branch, but the weight's there. 210 is plenty enough to be an NFL quarterback. His frame is obviously smaller than most guys. I understand he was not asked to throw across the middle a lot, and I understand that when he gets tackled, when he gets hit, he gets thrown around like a Looney Tunes character. All of those points are valid. Also understand that he does not necessarily slide when he needs to. He's the ultra competitor. He's even said what sets him apart from the other guys in this class is that he's a dog-ass competitor, and that's exactly what Dan Quinn called him on the draft call when Adam Peters and Dan Quinn were absolutely smitten on the phone with Jayden Daniels when he got it. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. We all need to pump the brakes. We all need to give him realistic expectations, but we all need to be open to the fact that this is our guy. This is our potential franchise quarterback of the future and the right now. He's starting day one. We will not be watching Marcus Mariota and his salt and pepper gray hair take the field for the Washington Commanders on week 1. This is your starting quarterback. No one's going to sit here and harp all year about how he's the most pro-ready quarterback there is, and we're starting bum-ass Marcus Mariota to start the year. It's not happening. Jayden Daniels will be the first person to be trotted out on the field for the Washington Commanders in 2024. And I hope it's against Chicago. I hope it's against Caleb Williams. Caleb versus Jayden, number 1 versus number 2 to start the year. I imagine the NFL has better plans for that. They'll probably try to put it on prime time or something later in the year, or they might try to run it back with Washington, Chicago on Thursday night for the 3rd year in a row because it may actually be excited this time. There was the no touchdowns Carson Wentz game where we won like 12-10 or 12-8. And then last year, the Bears absolutely stomped us on Thursday Night Football. The matchup has juice to it now because the Bears are loaded and have a fun franchise quarterback. We have a fun franchise quarterback. Our lives are changed now. We can sit up and look differently because we're going to get more national credibility. People want to see us now. People are interested in our success. And with the hirings of Dan Quinn and Adam Peters, people are actively rooting for this team. I know we've seen quarterbacks come and go. I know we've seen quarterbacks of every shape, size, and color fail here in Washington, but I believe this is the first quarterback of this century on this side of the century post Dan Snyder. This is the first quarterback since 1999 that is going to be given a fair shot to prosper because everybody from the ownership to the front office to the coaching staff, they're on the same page. There's not going to be no play my guy, don't play my guy. If your guy doesn't work, I'm going to put my guy in. There's none of that nonsense from before. Jayden Daniels gets a clean slate with real talent evaluators, real football people, and a machine behind him who's going to stop at nothing to assure he's a successful quarterback in this league. After Jayden graduated, things clicked, things moved slow, and things started to be seen clearer by him. We didn't have to wake up and go to class every day. He got to lock in. He was pulling his wide receivers out at 5:30 in the morning for meetings and workouts. Come on, man. That's maturity. That's a competitor. You know how hard it is to get 21, 20-year-olds up at 5:30 in the morning to do work? Jayden did that. We know we heard about the VR Oculus style training he did as well. I hope he brings that to Washington. All I've ever wanted in a quarterback is a dog-ass competitor, a competitor who puts in the work mentally so much that the game's moving in slow motion, that he sees what's happening on the other side. I think that's what we're going to get in Jayden Daniels. We're getting a guy who throws with touch, who has enough NFL arm. Joe Burrow doesn't have a strong arm, but he has some of the best ball placement I've ever seen. We got to see, can Jayden put it in the tight windows? We know he's going to hit guys in stride. He throws one of the best slot fades I've ever seen in the history of football. I'm excited. But ultimately, at the end of the day, we're talking about a guy who can dot you up with his arm. But more importantly, if you don't come correct, if you're sitting there worried about everything we have on the outside, this is a dude who could take it to the crib 70 yards anytime. I loved his answer when they said, so Jayden, what does that mean when Adam Peters says your legs can snatch a defense's soul away? He said, Florida tape 2024. And he said, what exactly does that mean, Jayden? He said, put on the tape and you tell me. I love it. Swagger, bravado, confidence, touch time, anticipation, and absolutely elite speed in the open field. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not RG3. He is Jayden Daniels. Stop comparing him to other people and stop having Washington PTSD. Jayden Daniels is not Robert Griffin. Johnny Newton is not Fedarian Mathis. Luke McCaffrey is not Trey Quinn. They are themselves. Let them carve their own niche and role in this league. I'm so excited to watch Jayden Daniels play football. And to close this out, I think he's going to be wearing that number you see on his back right here in this video, number 5. He has a brand. He has a logo. This is who he is. He's wore this number since like Pop Warner football. Number 5, Jayden Daniels. You are a Washington Commander, and you have the support of our entire fan base. I don't care who you wanted to draft in the process. Once the selection is made, he is ours now. We are fans before and after these players. So whoever they put out on the goddamn field, support them and hope for the best. Let's get behind our guy. Let's show our guy we're going to ride for him no matter what. Jayden Daniels, franchise quarterback, Washington Commanders. That's all I got for right now. Hail to the Washington Commanders. Deuces.